Good afternoon and welcome to Valley Views. I'm your host, Glenn Edison, and as always, we're glad to have you. And you can always see our programs on BTC Fiber's YouTube page as well as BTC Fiber's Channel 18. And today we have with us John Hargis, a local photographer, and as you know, Miss Janis Kaiser. She's the director of the Saquachi County Dunlap Chamber of Commerce. It's good to have y'all today.
Thank you, Glenn, for having us.
Good to be with us.
Today we want to talk about some things that have been, a lot of work has been put into it already, a lot more to go, but about the Scenic Byway and a few other things. So Miss Janis, why don't you start us off about the Scenic Byway and tell us about what all that is about and what all it entails.
Well, about 12 years ago, the Southeast Tennessee Development District started work on developing the Saquachi Valley as a scenic byway. So it's taken these 12 years and lots of work, lots of calls, lots of dedication to be created the Saquachi Valley National Scenic Byway, which runs from Interstate 40 at Crab Orchard down to 127 to 28, and then 28 down to Interstate 40. So once the designation was in place, the work began.
Well, I know there's a lot of things preserving some of the antique things like the barns and other areas that they want us, people can drive by and see. There comes tourism becomes a part of that. People come over to see and they have a way to go.
They do. So the Tennessee Department of Transportation has been a wonderful, wonderful partner with what we have deemed Tennessee's Great Valley. There is not another valley like us in the state of Tennessee. As a matter of fact, not many in the United States.
Right.
So with that being said, we worked with TDOT, with Mike McClanahan, to say what can we do, because he's the one that works the scenic byways. So the first thing that we did was to get it marked. So I don't know if you've seen this or not, but we've put up overview signs at the overviews out on 111 and also out at 127. And it just gives an overview of the valley and what you might see in geologically how the valley is formed.
Right.
But one of the things that you're going to see on this picture is one of John's, I think, the most beautiful photograph that he's ever made. But we do have, with TDOT's help, we have the overview signage there, and I'm amazed at how many people stop to see it on a daily basis.
Right, I've seen several when I have to go to Chattanooga and you see them stop and looking at it.
Exactly. Another thing that we're working on currently is conserving and preserving the properties within the valley. I don't think anybody here wants this to be another Dollywood or Pigeon Forge or Sevierville. That's not what we're about. We're about preserving our communities from the head of the Saquachi to the interstate, preserving our communities, preserving our small town charms, even though we provide big city amenities.
Right.
That's what we want to do.
And with that comes a lot of tourism where people come in, see our valley, spend their money here, and stay a day or two, and then they go home.
Hopefully they go home. No, I'm teasing. But we're in the process of creating, with the help of the Tennessee Tourism Commission, we're in the process of creating itineraries, which starting at the head of the valley, spending time in Bledsoe County, eating there, shopping there, visiting the falls, and we can't stay specifically on 127.
Right. Because
one of the things that we want to do is we're looking at submitting funding requests for barn preservations. I know John and his photography partner Tom Woods has been taking pictures of some of the barns. The barns play a great role in the heritage of this valley and the farming. So that money will be, that funding request will be submitted through the state. and then we'll go to work at preserving those barns.
Well, that's neat because I always like to see the barns and how, for years as I was growing up, you always saw Sea Rock City painted on every
Exactly.
barn. But here,
Now we'll see Tennessee's Great Valley.
yeah, and along with those barns come several century farms.
Yes, we're working with Stephanie Hare to identify what are the century farms and get those certified as century farms. So if you're out there and you're watching and you have a century farm, even think you do, give us a call at the chamber of 949-7608, and we'll help you fill out the paperwork and get that processed. Another great thing that we're doing throughout the valley is we're doing the Cruise in Tennessee's Great Valley.
Uh-huh.
And that's through the vintage automobiles that, for example, Bledsoe County has the first Saturday in the month. And they have a great turnout for their vintage cars. It's not a car show, it's a cruise in where people gather, they look at each other's cars. It's just a get together of
Right.
car owners. The second Saturday is in Saquachi County. The third Saturday is in Marion County at Crossroads. And the fourth one is in Cumberland County. And they had a great turnout last week. And one of the things when you visit those, you get puzzle pieces.
Oh, that's neat.
You earn puzzle pieces. And at the end in December, if you visited all 4 cruise-ins, we have great prizes that are being given away, and that will be stays within the 4 counties that make up Tennessee's Great Valley.
Well, and with this Scenic Byway, it takes a lot of coordination with all the areas that are going to be affected, just like that cruise-in. I know in the past, sometimes they had the same cruise-ins on the same days, and now it's where that they don't conflict.
Well, see, I think that's a wonderful thing that this the dedication of the Scenic Byway has done. It's kind of pushed us to work together to make everyone's boat rise.
Uh-huh.
Now, don't get me wrong, when Saquachi County plays Pikeville, we're not in the same boat. But otherwise, we're working together
Right.
to make the valley the best it can be. Nobody drops into Dunlap. I mean, you just don't drop in. You come through Marion County, Van Buren County, Hamilton County, Bledsoe County. Same thing with Pikeville. You come through. We're a valley. We're not isolated communities. And that's one of the things that I think we're really looking at is how do we promote, at the same time preserve and conserve the valley. One of the ways that we want to do that is through a historical pictorial book. And that's, if you don't know John Hargis, that means you haven't been to Fall Creek Falls. You haven't seen the beautiful pictures out there. That means you haven't been to Cumberland Mountain State Park. John is the photographer of Tennessee's Great Valley. So one of the things that John and Tom, who did the book for the state on the wildlife, one of the things that we're doing is we're going to create a book representative of Tennessee's Great Valley.
Well, John, since you're working on that book, I know I've talked with you before. It covers a vast area. What all area does it cover?
Well, for all practical purposes, it covers the most southern portion of Cumberland County, where there are parks and historic homes and things like that. And then it covers Bledsoe, Saquachi, and Marion counties, and to some degree, the things that might be right on the edge of the valley.
Uh-huh.
But the idea is basically the valley. We want to talk about the valley. And my partner and I have been working on this now for at least a year and a half, probably more. And we're going to finish this part pretty soon, and then we'll put it together. But essentially what we've tried to do is find the interesting, the picturesque, and the important historical places up and down the valley, regardless of where it is or which road it is. It doesn't matter. It's about the valley. We're gonna promote the valley. My partner Tom Wood is one of America's wonderful photographers. Has won national contests. Is kind of a sleeper, but a wonderful photographer. He retired as the deputy director for law enforcement of the TWRA several years ago, and he and I have been photographing together for almost 20 years now, and we would take a couple of 2-week trips every year somewhere in America and photograph. So we're not just photographers of this valley, we're photographers, and Tom has great ideas. He's dedicated to this project, and we're going to deliver a good book, and we're hoping that the book will be out sometime this fall. It'll be
time for Christmas presents.
There we go. And anyway, it will be somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 pages of nothing but scenes of the valley and those places real close to the valley that people might also want to visit. We have not arrived at a final price for the book yet, but we're going to try to keep it within the reach of our people here in the valley, and hopefully we'll keep producing books forever.
Good.
But
So
it's
I want to show you Tom's book that he did for the state, and this will be the quality. It will be a hardback. We started out talking about coffee table books.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has coffee tables. So this is the quality of the book. It'll be hardbacked. It will have brilliant photos in it, but it will also have some written descriptions. And one of the things that I find fascinating about this, and John may not want me to talk about it, is just the outstanding photography that's done in our backyards. I mean, it is brilliant. It is just beautiful. And we're going to get this book published. And again, John don't want me to probably do this, but to get this book published, it's going to cost us $50,000. But with that $50,000, that will give us 2,000 copies.
Oh, that'd be nice.
And we already have about half of the cost of this done. And would you want to talk about how we're doing it?
Oh, go ahead.
I think you need to do it.
Basically, what we're doing is putting the burden on the large industries, the banks, those kind of things to raise the money, and we do have most of the commitments that we need. And one of the things that we offer them, as other than an incentive to help us, is this same picture that will be on our overlooks, and it will be of this size, and it will be a
I don't know if you can
small,
see this.
You covered it in John's face.
We don't care. Just let's hold it up there. No,
Looks
sorry,
good,
John.
looks good. Let's get it like that. Maybe that'll help us.
Yeah.
Anyway, this picture will be an incentive to our larger donors to donate to the project of the book, and with it they will get a signed and numbered copy of that print, signed by myself, and it'll be one of 8 or 9 total pictures, and then that file will be destroyed, never to be used again. So the interesting thing about that is when somebody who knows what's going on with that picture walks in somebody else's place and sees the picture, they'll know that they were a patron of getting this book and helping this whole project to move along. It's an exciting time.
And one of the things that we've been asked by Tennessee's Department of Tourism to do is to make a mini book, for lack of a better word, just a sampling that will go in the what do you call
Welcome
them?
centers.
The welcome centers and
Oh.
any travel stops along the way. There'll be the chambers in each, but it will be a much, much smaller. It will just give you an inkling of what's going on in the valley. But one of the reasons that we're doing this book is that tourism is economic development. Any way
right.
you look at it is economic development, and tourism is a common thread for economic development throughout the valley. We want to bring recognition to the outdoor recreational activities. We've now got Woodcock Cove, which is the rock climbing. We've got the hang gliders. It's just we're growing. And
Right.
people are going to come. We want to give them a reason to come, stay like John says, stay 2 or 3 days, spend your money here, to go home. But again, we want to draw the thought to conserving our land.
Right.
I was thinking one of the things that this will do, it will document the way it is now for future generations. You know, people will look at these books probably 50 years from now and say, oh golly, it doesn't look like that now. But we want the economic impact through tourism, and who knows, maybe some people will stay and be
Productive citizens.
productive citizens in this beautiful place. But we want to preserve it. We just need this place to be as it is as much as we can.
Right, and you know, with the people coming through, I know I've heard of people that drove through and liked it, and they were on their way somewhere else, and they came back and said they found a realtor and said, we're going to buy some property.
Exactly. We want to live here.
Mhm.
Well, when they do come here, they come for that small town charm.
Right.
And with BTC fiber and the broadband coming in, those are those big city amenities that they need to work from home. They need to be here. I will tell you that we agreed upon that we would do 10, what are we calling them?
Patrons.
Patrons of the book. And these 10 patrons at $5,000 a piece would give us our $50,000 needed to design it and produce it, publish it. With that being said, we've had a couple of patrons that say, we want 2 pages. Because what's going to happen is, let's say Glenn Edison says, I want one to honor the Edison family. So for $5,000, you want to talk about what he gets?
Sure. Basically, what we give you for that is a tax-free incentive to do it. We give you the picture that you can place in your place of business or in your home, and golly, you'll be remembered forever in the book with a page and a few books that you can pass out to whoever you'd like to pass
You're
it
going
on
to
to.
get 10 complimentary books.
Oh,
You're going to get this print, and it'll be signed and numbered. But your page in the book, it is whatever you want it to be. I mean, you can tell the story of your family moving here. You'll be recognized. We'll have once we get through and get it published, for these 10 patrons, we'll have a small intimate dinner with the artist. So I have lots of signed and numbered prints, but I also try to get them signed again by the artist. So we'll have for these 10 patrons, we'll have dinner with the artist. And again, it's tax deductible. If you're interested in doing this, give John a call. You want to call you at
Sure.
your number, which is?
304-6144 anytime.
Or call the chamber. It's 423-949-7608. My cell number is 423-593-1444. Again, to be a patron of the book, it's tax deductible. We're doing this through Thrive Saquachi. Not Thrive Saquachi County, Thrive Saquachi, because our Saquachi Valley, Tennessee's Great Valley, is going to thrive. And all the proceeds from this book are going directly back in to doing more tourism activities up and down the valley. we've already got some great patrons, and I know, and we really haven't hit Dunlap people. Those have come from Bledsoe County primarily.
Well, and as you mentioned earlier about, since we're talking about tourism, this area has a lot of they're small towns, but they have the big town amenities.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And when people, like you said, when they move here and they say, well, hey, I can get the same thing and be a lot quieter and meet a lot nicer people, or I think we're nice
Oh,
here.
we are nice. We have a lower tax rate. We're beautiful. You wake up in the morning in the middle of God's Valley. Yeah.
So, if you want that book, they better get it fast, because
We have 5 more patron pages available. And again, it will be, we're going to stop a minute while Glenn's phone goes off.
Oh my goodness.
We've all been there.
Yeah,
That's the reason I left mine outside.
I usually turn mine off. Go. All right.
So the total printing of this book, the printing itself will be limited to 2,000. There will be, how many pages in it?
Something over 200, probably 205, 208. And there will be, at the most, maybe 10 or 12 patron pages. And one thing I failed to mention was the governor and the director of tourism in the state of Tennessee will write a little
The forwarding.
forward
for this.
Oh.
at the
That'd
front
be
of
nice.
this to tell anybody who reads it what it's about. And one thing we didn't mention is this is not just me and Janis and a couple other people
No,
getting
no.
together. This
No,
is
there's-
we have a
It's-
board, and we will be financially accountable for everything that we do. This is not a small deal. This is going to put this valley on
This
the
is
map.
huge. This is really huge, and we're doing lots. I just shared with John a minute ago. Middle Tennessee State University
Uh-huh.
is in the process, and we're refining it now, of doing brochures, a walking and driving brochure.
Oh,
Now
okay.
this is Saquachi County specific, but then we'll work with the other counties to make sure
To do one like
that
that.
each one has it.
Mhm.
I'm working with a publisher and a printer out of West Tennessee, and only with them because I saw one that they did for their county that is just wonderful. But again, we'll use the same pictures.
Uh-huh.
We'll do something similar, but it will have information about each county. Who do you call if you want to move here? Who do you want to, where do you want to stay? What do you want to do? It'll be an informational booklet, because now we get calls at the chamber here for, would you send me information because we want to come and visit? Well, we have to send 8 or 10 different things to get what they want. We want to do that in one small magazine. They could be sent out. Where do you get your lights turned on? Who do you call if you want a photographer? Who do
Whatever
you,
they
yeah,
may want.
that's what we're working on that too. So we're working, John and I talk probably every day or every other day.
Just about.
Melba and I have stood out in the middle of a street so he can get the picture and the lighting that he wants. A lot of work has gone into this, and we want to make it the best that it can be. And again, if you're interested in being one of the 5 remaining patrons, you need to give us a call. We haven't even talked to anyone in Marion County yet.
Not yet.
So if we can get the patrons out of Bledsoe and Saquachi, again, we're friends. Our boat's going to rise, except on the sports field.
Yeah.
And
That
then,
doesn't count.
no, that doesn't count. We're still friends after it's over anyway. So
Well, and this sounds really great. I'm excited to hear about it, and I'm excited to see the product when it gets in. So reserve me a copy. I want a copy.
All right.
and we'll even get it signed by the
Maybe
photographer.
we need to start charging for that. help
I
us to
need
tourists.
to tell you that John and Tom are out on their own dime doing this. they're kind of like, we've lived here. This is our valley. We want to give back, and so they're doing that as part of being human beings, being residents in our great valley.
Well, and the idea is, as long as I've lived here, it's a beautiful place. It has a lot of amenities, and now even more with everything that's been going on the past 2 to 3 years. A lot of growth, a lot of new businesses, and I want people to come and see it. You can come and see it and stay a few days, but we like it, and it's pretty.
Absolutely.
And it's come a long way since 30, 40 years ago. When it was just one red light in the middle of town, as the Boyd brothers used to say.
Absolutely. But Glenn, I want to be real sure that everybody knows neither John nor I or this book are encouraging people to come here and live without giving back.
Right.
We want you to come, we want you to enjoy, you want to visit. If you want to move here, that's fine too. Be productive citizens, give back like John Hargis.
There's none of us that are involved in this that have any hope of any monetary gain.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
No,
this is a volunteer program.
Well, it takes volunteers for all the
Absolutely.
programs to go on, and I know, like with the chamber and all the things the chamber does, it's not just Janis.
Oh no! Oh
It's
no!
got a lot
Honey,
of
I'm
people.
I'm the one that calls it. I need you to do this. I need you to do this. As a matter of fact, I need you to come to the Saquachi County or to the Dunlap Songwriter Festival, May 14th to 15th. We need all kinds of volunteers, and I promise you'll see John there taking his pictures because that's the same day as the cruise in Dunlap.
Oh, that's right. That certainly is.
Yeah.
So that'll be a big day.
But we just need this to work. This is kind of the key driver long term to make people come here.
To create an awareness.
And we'll be selling the book to the best retailers that we can find. Probably be in some state parks, but it won't be everywhere. We don't intend for it to be everywhere. We've got to keep track of who has it, that sort of thing.
Right. Was there anything else you want to talk about that we haven't talked about?
No, just call us if you want to be a patron. You get to have dinner with John Hargis.
Oh, bless your heart.
Well, that certainly is great, and I'm looking forward to it, and I know y'all are. So if they want to volunteer in any way, call you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And help out in any way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Glenn. Appreciate it.
y'all.
Yes, sir.
And again, you can see this interview on BTC Fiber's YouTube page as well as BTC Fiber's Channel 18. And until next time, have a great day. Hey everybody, this is Glenn Edison from Valley Views. We appreciate you watching our shows, and we would like for you to like, share, and follow us on Facebook, as well as like and subscribe to our YouTube page.
Brought to you by Bledsoe Telephone Cooperative, your full-service telecommunications provider right here in the Saquachi Valley.